that when God finished all this and put us as regents, and it says he rested, it's because he had delegated now managing the creation to us. And so basically these special acts that he was doing, he backs away from those. But what he actually is also doing on that seventh day is he's moving into his creation as if it were a temple. And there's a lot of stuff in the ancient literature that brings forth that idea of the creator, of God living in the temple that is his creation. And you know what that actually says to us, and we'll talk more about this next week, but what this actually says to us is that God didn't make all this stuff like a watchmaker and like wind it up and go do God stuff someplace else. Like he didn't create all the laws of physics and energy and chemistry and biology and all that stuff and basically create us and say, you know, have a ball, I gotta go. But rather he inhabits the creation and he's involved in all the transactions and the details. I mean, so he's involved in hydrogen atoms, fusing together and becoming helium atoms and so forth that makes the sun burn. And he's involved in the transport of that energy and the light waves and particles that come here. And he's involved in your life and mine, like right now, right here in this place. Okay? And so he's not a distant God. He came into the creation and he inhabits it as his temple. Okay? So that's a lot for tonight. But we got like 2 minutes. Comments, questions? Stunned silence.
You mentioned time, like animals don't know time. They obviously can't tell time by looking at a clock, but everything is ruled by time, right? They know
It certainly is. It certainly is, and they don't have a sentient understanding of time.
Right.
But the rooster knows when to crow, right?
6 o'clock at night, he's up there ready for supper every night.
6 o'clock, he knows, right? They know. Yeah, and the cues that they get are the same cues God gives us.
Right.
It's getting light, it's getting dark, and the circadian rhythms of their bodies. It's all
Right.
It's all God given.
Like animals that hibernate.
And some of these are like real mind twisters, okay? That like before God created, there was not time. You say, wow. Well, now how could it be before? I mean, these are things that like make you go, how's that work?
I mean, is there some thought for us humans to think that some stuff we're not meant to ever understand, or we shouldn't? Like we should leave certain things alone? Like maybe it's forbidden for us to understand certain things?
God's a God who reveals himself, but he leaves a lot of mysteries. And in I think part of the gift he's given us in subduing the earth is the gift of being able to discover stuff and figure it out for ourselves. Right. It's actually part of how we participate in in the image of God in us, right? I mean, he's a creator God. He brought order out of disorder in making things the way they are now, and he did it with purpose. And he gives that gift to us. He basically says, you guys can you can bring order out of disorder with purpose. Say, you know what, I want to be able to travel with ease. And some guys are fooling around with rocks and stuff like that. You know what, man? Did you notice how these round ones they go? And the next thing they invented the wheel. It's look at or they figure out how to harness fire. It's wow. Okay, but now it's at a whole different level, right? But it's all the same thing, right? The reason it makes our motor go to invent new stuff and have cool new stuff is because that's the image of God in us. That's what he did, right? He takes something that is formless and void, and he creates a form, and then he fills the form. And that's actually another way to look at these 6 days of creation, right? And he creates the domain of time. He fills the domain of time. He creates the domain of water and sky, and then he fills it with fish and birds. And then he creates the domain of earth separated into land and water, and he fills it with animals. And he puts man into that domain and says, rule and reign over this. And oh, by the way, on the 7th day, I rested. And so right after this, we're led to understand that what I want you to do is have a 7-day cycle, and on the 7th day, I want you to focus on me, so you're reminded every week that I gave you this responsibility and I created all this stuff, and I'm the one to be worshipped, and I am in my temple. It was be still and know that I'm the Lord kind of stuff. Okay, so that's a lot, but it's a way to look at this stuff that's not so material, Because if you look at it, try to figure out, like, you know, like when it says, you made light, you know, let there be light, and there was light. And so I'm thinking, well, how do you put together this, you go, how does that work? If it's like, that's the first day, until the fourth day, till there's a sun. Like, what's up with that? Where'd the light come from? You know, and we struggle with that, try to figure out how to,
Right.
yeah.
When he tells us to subdue the earth, like you look at society now, how there's obviously corruption, not such good things going on. Is it in the context of how we live our life, is not following God in those situations? I mean, is it the context, you know, if we subdue it, we need to, like the circle of life with hunting, I mean, like Indians say, they kind of live off the land in the right way, where as opposed to we killed all the whales and now there's no whales left, or we cleared all the rainforest and that doesn't work out too good for Earth.
Yeah.
The context of how we're supposed to
Good boys, boys.
context is the word we use, but the
Well, you know, you get 2 more chapters into Genesis, you find out that it's a fallen world, right? And so the people that have been given the privilege of subduing the earth also have a sin nature that makes them greedy and selfish and foolish, and so they like to strip mine and they do all this stuff, you know, and it's like, what were we thinking, right? So, you know, and you know, in terms of contemporary social ethics, right? The idea of being a good steward of the creation we've been given, you know, so thinking about environmental concerns and sustainability, those are all good biblical values, right? I mean, he said, you're in charge, but take care of it. And he tells Adam in the garden, you need to take care for the garden, not to like plunder the garden, you know, so take care of it, right? So young people, you're all silently listening. How do we do? Did any of the stuff I say just go by and go, what's he talking about? It's okay if that happened, because we'll come back to it next week. It's okay. Anybody like going, what's he talking about? Little so-so? Okay. Okay. Anything in particular?
Not really anything in particular, it's just,
Okay. Yeah. Because actually this thinking's kind of deep. You know? About thinking that what's important about what God did was to bring order and assign functions and things to do those functions is different than we think, right?
Yeah.
The way we think is in material stuff, like, you know, like, give me a list of stuff to get the hardware store, I'll make a universe, you know? That's the way we think, right? It's gotta be at Home Depot, right? Yeah.
it's quite the hardware store.
Huh? What's that?
That'd be quite the hardware store.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Well, I was thinking today, actually I was listening to a tape by John Walton.
Uh-huh.
He was talking about building a house, and I mean, if you're talking to a contractor, he might, you know, go into all the details about how he built the house. But if you're talking to a homeowner in a normal conversation, like, I built this house, you probably won't ask me, you know, questions like, you know, where'd you get the lumber to put the walls up? You'll probably say, why did you want that room to have all that many windows? Or why did you make your house like this? You know, why did you do this? What's the function of it? And that's what God, I think, is
That's
telling
what he's
you.
trying to communicate.
He's
yeah.
trying to tell you about your home, not exactly all the little details about how he built this house for you, but why he made this home, how it functions. You know, why he did this. You know, so why did he make animals? Why did he make light? Why did he make, you know, water?
Yeah.
And this is what it's telling us.
Yeah.
Not like every detail of how he did it. So it's like a homeowner giving you a tour and saying, this is why I did this. I put these cabinets up here because
Yeah.
I use them for this, and this is why I wanted it to be like this, and
Sure.
that's your function. Or I put the washing machine over there because that's our function to go into that room. And, you know, you don't do the details as in, you know, that lumber came from Canada, and actually with spruce trees behind that wall. But you do functions. You do, I wanted it to be like this so that it's easy to work. I wanted my refrigerator there because it's easy for me to get around. And I think that's what
Yeah.
God is telling us. When you say function, you're saying, oh, why did I do this? You know, how's it work? You know, why is it like this? And so it's my little tidbit.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and again, like the more important stuff is not subatomic particles. And that's not the more important stuff. The more important stuff is a God who loves us, created us in His image, and gave us these incredible capacities, okay, which are unlike any other creatures on this planet. You know, that be able to to be able to create new ideas, to be able to create new ways to put things together, to be able to have lifelong relationships characterized by love and compassion and mercy and kindness, to make moral choices, to be able to sort right from wrong, and to live in truth and in integrity and stuff. Okay, you know, it's extraordinary what He's given us, and in Genesis He basically is explaining, okay, that this is, you know, I'm putting you in charge of this place. I gave you dominion over it. Now rule and reign on my behalf.
To
You
live
know,
with purpose.
yeah, that's the purpose.
To
I mean,
live with
you know,
purpose.
He's ruling in His temple, which is the cosmos. He's ruling in His temple, and He's the king. So, and we are the word they would use back in the days of monarchy, you know, is we are His regents. Okay, that's like what happens, like if the king, you know, if the king of England like goes off to fight in the Crusades or something like that, he leaves somebody in England to be his regent, to run England while he's away. And that's actually that's the incredible privilege we as humans have, is to be his regents. And so that's actually why we have the urge to you know, to take a forest and turn it into a combination of farmland and houses and parks and some forest to hunt in. You know, that's what gives us that urge to do that. You know, it's the image of God in us. It's like the coolest thing. And that's what He's telling us in Genesis. Okay, great. So that's installment number 2. Next week, what I'd like to talk about are, and actually I would ask our 2 biology, what are you guys, survivors? Did you take the whole thing yet? Or, okay, so you took high school biology, Okay, well, maybe you can help us a little bit, but what I want to talk about are the kind of like, arguments you can get invited to participate in. And in some ways to think about those things that may be helpful. Because something you said last week was, you talked about the seven, okay? It'd be awesome if you could like get out your notes or your book or something and be
Yeah,
able to.
totally. No way to bring it.
Well, if you could just tell us what they are, we can like talk about those, right? You know, about, you know, kangaroos in Australia or whatever those things were, you know. You said they were because you said they were pretty convincing.
They are. It's definitely like a different way to look at it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can talk about that, okay? Because yeah, when we'll talk about like the motivation behind this kind of arguments, you know, like what are you trying to persuade? That we have the right scientific answer, or there is no God, okay? It's like, what are they trying to persuade you of? Did you get pizza on your legs?
Must have sweaty knees.
Huh?
You can skip the shower tonight.
Yeah,
laugh at
that would make me skip my shower.
I do it all the time.
What, have the dog lick it?
Or cat, what are you doing?
Oh. Oh. You ever watch a dog outside and see what they eat?
Hey Nate, how you doing? Way to go, Nate. Did you make
Hey,
it through?
Hope you're having a good time in Florida. It's not warm and sunny up here. Well, it's sunny.
Warm
It's
parts
not
missing.
warm.
Okay, cool.